Right, so on Twitter, at ChefG931 has asked, Mr. Beard, how do you cope with hunger when you fast before a challenge? Are you still eating little 5 days a week, which we just spoke about? And how do you maintain your stomach capacity?
No, that's really just. I mean, it's a good question. Thanks. Was it Chef G?
Chef G.
Thanks, Chef G. That's just a question of willpower. It's really nothing more than that. And some people, I don't want to say some people have it, some don't. But like one thing I think I have in spades more than anyone I actually personally know, closely know, is willpower and self-control. So it's just a fact of the matter. If I don't do this, either A, I get fat and really unhealthy, or B, I just stop making videos, and I love making videos right now. And in terms of stomach capacity, that's really just the thing that like back in the day, like I built most of it by doing like huge meals once a day, which were really low in high volume, low calories. So that's another good kind of diet tip, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at 100 grams of lettuce, there's like 7 calories in that. So you could literally like 3 kilos of lettuce, and it would barely be,
In cucumber like that, like if you eat a cucumber, you actually burn more calories than what you consume. It's just basically water.
Like everyone like anyone in the major league eating top 20, it just smashes through lettuce, cute watermelon, things that is low in calories.
Yeah.
Nutritious, but like high in volume. And I used to do one meal a day, and that's how I never really intended on getting into quotes competitive eating, but it made my stomach capacity obviously larger than normal because I would eat one large meal a day, and it would get progressively larger. So
that also answers Nick Slater at Nick Not Nicky. She's asked, do you get hungry on those days, and if so, how do you cope? Does it bother you? Or do you just learn to ignore it? But the coping, I want to just on that one specifically, is like the coping.
Yeah.
You drink coffee, you drink water. Does that actually like sort of put it at ease ever slightly, the hunger?
Yeah, that helps. I wouldn't want to go like 24 hours without water. That's just, you would feel awful, right? But of course, water is calorie free, thankfully. And black coffee pretty much is...
Coffee.
Yeah, coffee is essentially calorie free. It's a trace amount of calories in there, but not enough to take you out of a fasted state, if that's how you want to put it. And to me, hunger is like a paper cut or a headache. Hunger is my body telling me it's time to eat.
Yeah.
But if I ignore that, I'm not going to die. Nothing bad's going to happen. The worst that's going to happen is I might feel a little lightheaded, which is why, for example, fasting is not for everyone. Like if my mum goes an hour without food, she's like, oh, I expire. She gets like really, she starts to feel lightheaded and starts complaining. For me, that's not, obviously, I don't make good, like right now, I'm actually surprisingly energetic.
You are, yeah.
Given that I've not eaten for 29 hours now. That's over time. If you want to try fasting, try it out because it's cool for psychologically controlling.
There's an app. There is an app that I know that a lot of fighters use where it's in its simplest form. It's like a stop and start. But you press start and it'll obviously give you notifications. You've done 7 hours. You've done 12 hours. I guess that's a visual representation of how far have I come. And I think it gives you like stats like at this point your body's doing this, or you've met the same goals as 3,000 other people that have fasted for 17 hours. So there are apps out there.
Fasting's just quickly is as well. It's not like a magic bullet, but if like me, you love to eat. Like I couldn't do that whole, you see in Men's Health, eat every 2 hours to keep your metabolism burning and stuff. Couldn't do that because you never eat enough that you're satisfied. Satiety is like out the window. I'd rather eat once a day and smash it, So even if I'm not eating much, it still feels like it's a reasonable amount of food.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
No, you're right. Ryan Drinkwater, this dude tags us all the time.
I like that name as well.
When's the next podcast coming out? It does
it's like a name which gives you good advice.
Ryan
Drinkwater.
How long after a 50,000 calorie? I think he's put too many O's there. 50,000 calorie challenge does it take you to lose weight you put on? We've definitely covered this, but I'll let you answer it anyway.
I don't think he has put any. He's probably referring to one of my really early. I don't go in for those calorie challenges on YouTube. Kind of they were dumb in the first place, I think, but they were entertaining. But then it just kind of jumped the shark a bit, and it got everyone was doing them, and that's the kind of thing that could do you harm. I think in the long run because they're really punishing. But there's no way to answer that really. It depends on your activity level. Depends on your own. Metabolic rate, how much you not eat, how much you're eating after the fact that you've done that many calories. Suffice to say that if you're going to eat that much food, I think that was probably like 50,000 in 50 hours. I think I did that.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds fun, but it's not fun. And thereafter, some of the weight you're going to gain a lot of weight, right? A lot of it's going to be transient, like we discussed earlier on. Excess sodium and all that.
Yeah.
But you are going to gain some fat. if you don't have body dysmorphia or something like that, or an eating disorder, you're going to be comfortable with that because you know that, okay, for the next 2 weeks I'm going to be really reasonably strict with my diet and stuff, under eat to balance it out. But I couldn't tell you an amount of time, a sufficiently long time though, a couple of weeks probably before you're back to normal. On
Instagram, Lima Oscar Whiskey has asked, how do you ensure adequate nutrition intake since you eat little around your challenges? Because obviously the macro breakdown of your challenges, who fucking knows really? Like, but then obviously your other meals.
Well, the broad spectrum macronutrients, so carbohydrates, dietary fat, protein. I mean, if you've my week it gets complicated. But if let's say yesterday I ate, or today I ate. Let's say today I ate, I don't know, fucking 76-ounce steak or something.
Yep.
Protein turnover in the human body doesn't really work this way, but it's not going to be emptied immediately like a normal sized meal. So I'm not going to sit there the day after and think, I really need lots of protein today. I'm adequately provided for. And if you don't have sufficient protein for one day, sporadically, or 2 days, it's not going to impact you, especially if you're not some kind of competitive bodybuilder or strength athlete or something. And for me, it's more of a concern in terms of the types of food that I'm eating on my days off. So I make sure I'm eating, fruits, vegetables, things that are really important. And you don't need a sufficient amount, or you don't need a huge amount of them to have the associated health benefits of eating vegetables. A portion of blueberries, which I eat all the time, 40 calories. Portion of raspberries, 40 calories. Banana, 80 calories. Strawberries, broccoli, and so on and so forth. You don't need a great deal. The amount of them that you need to eat to get the health benefits is small relative to the caloric content of that food. So I just, with common sense, really. It's not that hard, even if I'm eating 1,000 calories.
You just reminded me, I think, like you mentioned portion sizes there, which obviously that we could have obviously talked for another 20 minutes about that, but a lot of people get that wrong, I think, with certain food groups. Because especially like if you're going to go natural, so you're going to have cashew nuts, you could nail half a bag of cashew nuts. They're expensive, but you could nail half a bag of cashew nuts. But in that half a bag, you've probably had 6 portions. They're so calorie dense. That and peanut butter is so calorie dense that people think they might be having, on the back of it, they might be having the 50 calories, which is for like 4 cashew nuts, when really they've nailed like 25, which is obviously you're then into a surplus of calories. So I think it's worth noting, look at the actual portion size of.
I'm always like, I weigh my food every day,
Yeah.
Because, and if not, I'm good at eyeballing it. But yeah, I mean, if you just think you're eating, this is another thing, just eat healthy foods, you can eat as much as you like. Well, not so healthy, but if you eat, like Josh says, a bag of them, there's going to be like 1,000 calories in that, easy,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's.
Isaac Wilson, most beard can bench. What's your 1 rep max? People want to know this, some bro science.
Right now, that's a funny one. I could tell you some, they're not really that impressive, but right now, I've not done flat bench for ages. I've been doing mostly incline, but I think if I had to right now, it'd probably be about 110 kilos for a rep. But bear in mind, I weigh like 153 pounds right now. So that's still good.
That's like 70 kilos, isn't it? So that's 2.2 pounds to a kilo. Yeah, 70 kilos.
So as a strength, people get carried away, especially with like all these gym rats and stuff on Instagram. They'll see these numbers and they'll be like, well, that's not strong. Like, don't let people tell you you're not strong, right? If you can bench 1.5 times your body weight, pretty much, or even 1.25, you're reasonably strong. Probably my best, or the one that I think often sets people apart is if you can, like my military standing overhead press is 70 kilos, which is based on my body weight for 1 rep. And if anyone tells you that you're not strong and you can, lift your own body weight over your head with an Olympic bar, that's you're never going to need to be strong. When do you need to be stronger than that? But yeah, benches. I think benches are stupid. Not that I want to call a person stupid, but I think it's not the most useful indicator of strength. For me, it's overhead press and maybe something like a deadlift.
Yeah,
something like that.
I've got abnormally long arms. Like I think I'm, if you look at the evolution scale, I think I'm like a few back where my arms actually drag on the floor. So like bench press is not, it's not good for me. I can deadlift, bench press, no good. But obviously you being a little stumpy fella, you'll have a good bench on you.
I'm better actually at pulling motions, not necessarily deadlift. My biggest dead was 175 kilos at body weight of 68 kilos, which is quite good. Like pound for pound, that's...
Yeah.
But Yeah, I'm better. Probably chin-ups my favorite thing to do. I could do those like all day long. I keep wanting to do, you see those like challenges where you like sit, can you hang for a minute? I'm like, I could, that wouldn't even be hard, I don't think.
You need to go.
Because I'm little, I'm tiny.
That went viral, didn't it? Last year, there were a dude in London that was just like scamming folks. You remember seeing that? I think the bar actually starts to spin after like, you get to hang for a minute, but after 40 seconds, the bar starts to turn. And then there was one where a guy got like to 59 seconds. The guy went and booted him. You know, the guy that owns it. The guy was going to win 100 quid. I remember that going viral. There's a bunch more questions, but we've already answered them all. So I don't want to read. I don't want to go over them again. But you know, our cheat days are advisable. We've gone over that. What are your views on fasting? What are the health benefits of fasting? It's all the stuff we've already spoke about. So rather than,
I think there was the only one I think I'd say is there was, I know I saw somebody ask a question about meal timing, which we have kind of touched on.
Yeah.
Said, is meal timing important? Like if you're eating every 2 hours or if you're eating one meal a day? Largely no, for the sake of like your body composition. Like if you eat 2,000 calories a day as one meal or multiple meals, it's going to make no difference. What it will make a difference to is, psychologically how you feel. You might get angry if not eating. And performance. So you'd never like go a full day, wake up in the morning 6 o'clock, not eat all day, then go train at 5 o'clock or whatever on an empty stomach. That would be suboptimal at best, catastrophic at worst. But yeah, that was another one I just noticed, and I think meal timing. I think that's because you used to get those men's health. I am ragging on men's health. Fuck men's health. They used to say, you stoke your metabolism by eating every 2 hours. It's just bullshit, man. There's no metabolic variance really. If you do that, it's just a psychological thing. Can you handle fasting or going without food for a long time?
You're an educated dude, man. This is why it's good.
It interests me. That's all it is.
But you're professional in your profession. You've keeping yourself in good nick. You've educated yourself on longevity. Yes, it means it.